the man with the plan. I ain't Clark Kent, but some of the ladies do call me Superman. It's your boy, Big Cali. I'm here feeling good, feeling great as usual. Coming with another one, another Big Cali world. And man, I don't even know how to introduce this guy. I'm gonna be real with you, man, because this is like a mentor, not even like a mentor. This is a mentor to me. He's the one that basically all my wild Atlanta stories that all my friends I be telling. I was a part of one of the biggest club promotion groups in Atlanta, and he was the CEO of it along with all his other board. We're gonna get into that. Also, club owner of Oak. Hold on, I had to say this one: mayoral ambassador of nightlife. That title alone. It's a lot of titles we can get to. This, if you're in Atlanta and you're trying to go out, you're trying to party, and if you're a celebrity from the celebrities, basketball players, NBA, whatever, football, baseball, this is the man. Korey motherfucking Felder, Korey with a K, aka what's up, player? How you doing? Welcome to Big Cali World.
Hey man, I'm happy to be here. Man. I appreciate that, man. Very generous, very gracious.
Bro, I haven't seen you. First off, I don't think I've seen you since I was like 481 pounds, like 500 pounds.
Last time I see you, man. I meant to say that.
You.
You look great, man.
I appreciate it, G.
Yeah.
Yo, you know what's funny? It's when I first cut my hair, when I first shaved my head, was in Miami on that first spring break trip.
Wow.
Because I couldn't get an edge up. I couldn't get an edge up anywhere in Miami. And this girl was like, just shave your hair. You can look like Rick Ross. I was like, yeah, that's going to be it. And I shaved it. She kissed my head. I bought a $30 cigar. I was turned out ever since. It was beautiful.
Shout out to her.
Shout out to her. Yep, definitely. But man, how you been, man? How's Atlanta?
Good,
how's the fam?
Fam is good. My son is getting bigger and bigger by the day.
Damn.
But yeah, crazy. Got a kid, bro.
I know. That's so crazy to be. I'm like, wow.
Married with a kid, man. So it's great, man. So
congratulations, by the way, too, man.
Thank you, man. It's definitely a different experience than what we were used to when we were on campus and things like that. Life has changed, and Atlanta has changed mainly for the better, but it's definitely a different city. Still progressive as ever, though. Still progressive as ever. So just have
one. Yeah, man, you've had one hell of a year. Like, trust me, I've seen the pandemic, battling all that, man. First off, has Atlanta even been closed? Let's be, because I'm in Cali. We're excited to drink at a bar right now. That's like big to us.
it's so funny because I've done a little bit of traveling throughout the pandemic and seen the dynamics in different cities and states. DC and New York. And funny story, I was actually I was in a period of 14 days. I think the world shut down, and you kind of got the news around March 6th-ish, I think is the date. From around, I think that weekend to about 14 days later, I was in Miami, New York, and DC in 14 days.
Oh my gosh.
And literally watching the pandemic progress. Like literally, we did spring break in Miami, and I think by the time I got on my flight Sunday to go to New York, they had shut down Miami, and they said that was the last weekend that they were going to do anything, and that the beaches was closed. What? And they put in their curfew literally the next day. So we were always, we've evolved it from doing just our weekend to doing the entire month. So this was the first weekend. So he's like, all right, yo, should we do the whole month? Should we do, 1.5? What are the schools saying? Are people coming out? And, this little virus thing. Because we got to remember, this virus was on a boat in the middle of nowhere at first.
Like, right. And I love how you said this little virus thing, because that's exactly how we all thought. We were like, oh, man, this little virus, we'll be back.
Yeah. Somebody had some bad bacon on a boat somewhere. And, here we go. Right. And that's what we thought. And somehow that shit swam to shore. Even though they had those people in quarantine, I think it was like 2 weeks on a boat. And, it just, and here we are. But Atlanta has not been closed. I mean, to be honest with you, man, we've done something very remarkable, and our cases haven't drastically, spiked like you.
That's
I
what I
think
was
there
gonna
was a
ask
report.
you, man.
Yeah,
Like those cases, I haven't heard because I have homies still in Atlanta.
Yeah,
and they told me niggas had it, but then they told me it was just like everywhere else. Like niggas had it,
yeah.
they got over it.
For us to be open. You would think that we would be in a position like New York and like my home state, New Jersey. New York, New Jersey. I think I saw on CNN right now. They're talking about rolling back everything. Like, hey, we not close. We closed again, like full close. Because we're getting a crazy surge. We haven't gotten that surge. Have our numbers gotten larger? Yeah, just like everywhere else. But for us to be open and be operating and super spreading and things like that, there has been a drastic change.
Man, is that how you started working? I kind of wanted to, with the mayor, because honestly,
right.
I want to get into that too. Like, how'd you start working with her? Because I seen, like, bro, you were throwing events the whole time, but they looked safe, quote unquote. I say quote unquote because in Cali, we're nervous. We're nervous as hell to do anything.
Right.
So, like, how does she reach out to you and do that?
Right. To be honest, to go to the nervous part, man, we were all kind of nervous as everything first started out, and but my dynamic is different because we haven't been under the same restrictions as everybody else. The mayor herself did not reach out. Some of her aides and people in her cabinet reached out, and she wanted to devise a task force for opening up the city. She knows it was imminent to kind of get government back on the same page, and I was fortunate to be the nightlife representative, and that was
I love that title.
And it wasn't, but I stepped into something I really didn't know. It was kind of like I handled everything. I was over the clubs, strip clubs, the lounges. If you go out after 8 o'clock and served alcohol, I pretty much handled you. So that was some big britches to stand in.
I'm about to say you had to bring them all to the table, like talking to different all these club owners that you were once in competition with,
right?
And now you're like, hey guys, we need to all come together.
You got to also understand too, man. Going through things like the Super Bowl and things of that nature, it was about a sense of togetherness, and everybody who is an owner or a promoter or some sort of influence in this city started coming together around that time to say, hey, well, we don't want out-of-towners coming here and, taking over our city. Like, we want to be a part of that governing voice, to the point that we actually met with the NFL and their executives. They came to the table in a closed-door meeting that I happened to be a part of and say, how can we make the city better? So that's where you get JD putting on for the city and doing free concerts, and Ludacris and Chaka and Big Jeff and Little John and all of those mainstay Usher and those mainstay people from this city got the opportunity to put on. So that's where the togetherness really started. So it really wasn't hard to get everybody together. They came and said, hey, we want to get together, everybody. So I'm sitting on this council with the heads of Uber, the vice president of Delta, the CFO of Waffle House, just people to name a few.
Right.
And it was hush.
That's huge, bro.
It was, hey, you can't tell nobody we in those rooms, So I mean, it was cool. It was really cool. The people who own things I didn't even know people own. Like, damn, the guy who owns the color blue for the South.
I was saying that was the color blue.
Like, but it was cool. And what was really cool about that was to kind of see everybody's dynamic, right? How everybody was taking over in dealing with the pandemic. Waffle House's story and Delta's story and Uber's story are 3 different things. Right. And it's this big business impacted. So
do you feel like those things have moved Atlanta? That's why you guys have moved forward so quickly and been able to be stable. Because I mean, out here in California, New York, everywhere else, it's like a lot of the entertainment and nightlife has been impacted. Like I'm DJing, as you know, I DJ out here. I ain't DJed in the club in a year. Like, I even forgot like what it feels like technically. Right. Now, have we been throwing private parties? Have we been doing stuff, to get by? Of course. What I was getting at is, do you feel like that meeting and those things had to happen to be able to move forward as nice and good as you have been?
I think that's a part of it. And I think another advantage is that the CDC is here. So we're,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't.
our former president and his cabinet were getting their directives from Atlanta. So, Atlanta was in a great spot and in a bad spot in the same sense.
Right.
So every time we had those calls, 9 o'clock in the morning, in those meetings, it was, with 2-3 scientists on there talking specifically about the virus and things like that. So we kind of got it from the horse's mouth. I'm not going to say that aided in us staying open, but we kind of got a little bit of an advantage before the rest of the world did. With that being said, we still wanted to be safe. So there wasn't a question of, hey, we got an inside touch, so we're good. No. It was understood that there was never a COVID protocol. It was a virus protocol. And I want people to understand that when you see masks, when you see hand washing, when you see sanitizing and stuff like that, that is normal virus passing from to and from protocol. That is no different than a flu protocol. Washing your hands, being clean. And it started with that. It started with wash your hands thoroughly. You know what I'm saying? Washing and changing of bodily fluids. Covering and shielding your face, how to cover your mouth and things like that. Then that evolved to masks. Masks aren't going anywhere anytime soon. In a very least bit. And I've been fortunate to travel.
I love you said that. Thank you for saying that, Korey.
Yeah, not going anywhere anytime soon. It's funny, me and my mentor, Chaka Zulu, talked like as soon as I was getting off them calls. I'm like, hey, bro, I got to wear a mask forever? He said, oh, yeah, get used to that shit. And that was the truth. In Atlanta, it's very common to see somebody without a mask because we've been open. We've been a little bit more lax.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but when I go and travel to DC to see family and things of that nature, I'm in a gas station. I forgot my mask in the car in Atlanta. It's like, oh, you'll be okay. They're looking at me like, like I got 3 heads. Like, what's going on? So understanding that dynamic, even traveling. I mean, it's just those things won't change. And fear sells as well. So I can only imagine what the industry's done for, sanitizing and tissue and Lysol. Like I'd love.
Oh, I wish I owned a tissue company.
Man,
I wish I owned a tissue or hand sanitizer company.
I want some points on Lysol because they did numbers.
I still can't get Lysol disinfectant spray. That shit, I can probably buy drugs quicker than I can buy Lysol disinfecting spray.
I'll send you some Lysol. We got a couple of ours.
You're a real one. Thank you, bro.
I got you. No, but here's the crazy shit. When it first happened, one of my assistants, she's actually a digital assistant. She helps me out. She was sending me stuff from Seattle. Like literally like, yo, I'm sending you 6 bottles of Lysol. Let me know if you got it. Yeah.
Damn. It takes the community.
Hey,
we're going to get through this together.
Absolutely. And that goes back to what we were talking about, man. Togetherness has been there and it's been a sense of community. And I think that's why we've been able to open up. We've been on the same page more than we ever have as a city. And I'm happy that, the imprints that we started in college has grown me to those conversations. So that
I'm
I can
glad you said that, man. Yeah. And when you said it with college, I kind of want to go back because we kind of circled in. I go all over the place, but I want to know first off, Korey in New Jersey, high school party promoting. How did it start? Because I don't know that story. Man. I know me walking on campus, seeing you, and you already established. Shit was already rolling. Man. Let's go to the backstory. How did that start in Jersey? And what was the decision to move to Atlanta? What was that about, man?
Well, I'll start there. Atlanta was coming, whether it was going to be high school or college. That was kind of beyond me. My mom is from Georgia. She's from rural Georgia, 2 hours south of here, a place called Montezuma, Georgia. So
I've never been there in my life.
A lot of people have not. It's like a 1,000 city. But with that being said, man, it was always something I wanted to do. I came here every summer. I learned the swag. I learned the music. I was here when Monica first dropped, her first album. I was here when Blackberry Molasses came out. Those are summers that I remember.
So you were here during the Freaknik days? You're in Atlanta during Freaknik?
I remember the traffic. I remember the city being shut down. I remember seeing all of that and being shielded from it. So I really couldn't understand it.
I love how you said that.
Yeah, man. But Atlanta was a very fun city, and that's something I really couldn't translate to people when I was young. You know, I was really, you know, I was grade school young, but I knew that the people here were having so much fun in their own way. I had been to California at that time. I had been to, you know, obviously New York and other places, but you know, Georgia was doing its own thing, man, and you know, not worrying about what the rest of the country was worried about. And I've always had an affinity towards it. I obviously want to be around my family. The weather was nice. There were swimming pools everywhere. That's stuff I didn't get in Jersey. You know, you had to be really, really rich to have a swimming pool. We didn't think about going to swimming. We had the shore, the Jersey Shore, but you know, you did that maybe once a year. It wasn't really nice water. Where are you from
in Jersey again, Korey?
I'm from a place called Irvington, New Jersey. Irvington is a township inside of Newark. Most famously, our most famous person besides myself is Queen Latifah.
Talk your shit. I was gonna say.
I am from the city.
Queen Latifah too, Jersey's own.
I am from the city that birthed Queen Latifah. So we're a proud place, man. We don't ever like to be called New York or them up north dudes. Nah, we a Jersey.
Oh, I for sure learned that my first month in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's who I gravitated to was people from Jersey and Philly and DC. Like all them, that's who I kicked it with.
Right.
And now, trust me, call somebody from Jersey, be like, "Oh, you from New York?"
No.
Nigga, that might be a fight right there.
Yeah. We not them. And that's no disrespect. I have a lot of friends from New York, obviously, and ran with a lot of people from New York. But the same way they have their affinities towards their boroughs and areas, the same way we care about our state and our city.
Oh, it's call somebody from Harlem from the Bronx.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, you from the Bronx?
and I'll be honest, everybody from South Jersey ain't cool either. You know what I'm saying? We don't rock with all of them. Like, yo, I'm from Jersey. Yo, I'm from, you know, just like a Rochester dude, you know, saying they from the city. It's two different things. Like, yeah, I
love these politics. It's just like kind of like the Bay and SoCal are two totally different places. Yeah. Worlds. We have different verbiage. We have different ways we dress, but them our brothers.
Right.
We're still our brothers, but we're different.
If it come down to it, you know, it's tri-state versus everybody. You know, but,
I love it.
You know, and that's why I was Mr. Tri-State in school, and I love that. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to be a representative of everything that I've known and grown up with. But to that point, man, Georgia was going to be a part of the conversation from the jump, and so. I wasn't going to come in high school because I started playing football and liked my team and, you know, started growing in that. And when college happened, man, I wasn't really sure of what I wanted to do as far as school. And at the last minute, it was kind of like, oh, shit, I forgot about Georgia. And I put in some places and, you know, a few places gave me some waiting list. Morehouse told me I could come, but I needed to go to summer school, and I just was like, "Why would I do that? Like, I don't understand why. Like it's literally May. You're telling me to come back in July. I really don't understand." So Morehouse is a quick.
I hate summer school. I hate having to go to summer school.
What do you mean? Like my last summer of high school, and you want me to come to school early? Why? But it was what it was, man. I love my Morehouse brothers, my friends over there.
Shout out Morehouse. We had our thing, but I love y'all now.
We had our thing.
as an older man.
Right. I also went to all boys high school too, so that also hindered me from going to Morehouse as well. I just couldn't see myself doing that twice and not getting that sense of freedom. I was in private school most of my life because I played sports, or just because my area was bad. And, you know, growing up in Jersey, I mean, it's changed a little bit now, but to get a quality education, you almost had to go to a private school as a young man and not be distracted. So once I got the opportunity, man, I went down to Morris Brown College first. Actually,
did they got the accreditation back? Side note, I heard they got it.
They got it
back. Open it.
They got it back.
Wow.
Man, but it's an uphill journey, man, trying to do that. It's a privately funded school through the AME Church. So they don't take donations the same way that a state-funded school. They're not eligible for a lot of grants. So it's a lot of GoFundMe type raising when it comes to fundraising, and you know, it's a lot of upkeep. A lot of people don't want to put themselves behind that. I will say that Morris Brown was the only Black-owned, Black-ran, and Black established school in AUC, and I don't think a lot of people know that.
What do you mean by that? Can you elaborate on that a little? Because I would think HBCU is all Black.
I was going to say that historically, Black is a very gray area. If you look into a lot of schools, and I'm not going to out everybody right now, but I bid you to do your research on a lot of these schools. Historically black, there's asterisk in a lot of those places. And I learned that at Morris Brown as a freshman that a lot of people did take the handout. A lot of people did take the come up dollars and, to do this, to do that, the back scratch. And Morris Brown prided themselves on not doing that. And I also knew that that would be part of their demise once everything happened. So when everything hit the fan, the first conversations were, all right, cool. I know Ted Turner was one of the first people who came over and said, all right, cool, I need this building. And that's the way the game goes. And they didn't want to do it. There was a rumor that Oprah Winfrey reached out. Same thing. She's not a part of AME Church. So there's a lot of different things. And I also went to a Catholic high school, so I understand how archdiocese.
That's what I was going to say. When it comes to religion and stuff, like it's hard. Just like you're not buying Notre Dame from the Catholic.
Can't have
you're not. It's not happening. I believe that's Catholic, right?
Yeah.
I believe
they'll burn it to the ground before they sell it to anybody. It's just the way it works.
So I mean, at least they're keeping their pride with it. I could respect that.
Absolutely. And some people call Morris Brown crazy for that, but it is what it is. They got it how they got it. But going back to high school, man, I got with a crew called the Hit Squad. And there was a gentleman by the name of Tory T, a DJ who was from my town, in Irvington.
Shout out Tory T.
Shout out to Tory T. Rest in peace. He actually passed away a few years ago. And Tory was just, a guy who threw all the parties, man. He was an older gentleman, who was a DJ, and he had a great vision, which I emulated, obviously, once we got to school. He decided that if I take the cool hustler and the girl who's pretty, the cheerleader, the guy who plays really good on a football field, the guy who's good at basketball, and just the poppin' dude who everybody want to fuck with, or a poppin' girl, and put them in one crew and put them on a flyer, they'll be their own celebrity. And that was an added.
That's a true statement.
It was added, it was an added sector of who we were in our cities, man. It was a kind of a sense of arrival. If you got put in his squad, you were popping. And that's just what it was. And we were fortunate to be in that position. So I got in as a junior. So I got 2 years of that. He lived 2 streets over from me. So I was very familiar with him and my
What crew. Did they make? What did Tory T? Because I know what y'all made us do when we first joined his squad. So what was some of y'all duties in promoting? And then I want to know some of that. What was like you joined as a junior and you like, all right, boom. I got the flyers.
I don't know if you remember when we came down, we had like the street team tags. So in Jersey, those street team lanyards, just like a normal VIP lanyard, was synonymous with kind of getting, your rock chain. You know what I'm saying? So to get that rock chain, you had to put in work and you had to become and prove yourself as a notable face. So whether that was selling a certain amount of tickets, whether that was just being seen. So, he was coveted for this pull up that he would do. He pull up to your school, get you from the school. He'll take you to another school, you know what I mean? And you just be posted with him. And in that same day, while you're auditioning or your final interview, you're also getting notoriety. The girls are coming up to you. So here I am in khakis with my tie low, you know what I'm saying, with my Wallabies on and my North Face book bag. And he
talk your shit.
Yeah, he done pulled up and he come jump in the car. Yo, Tory here to get Korey. Word, damn. So jump in the car and we went over to Shabazz High School, Malcolm X Shabazz High School, which is, notorious in Newark. I think it's the biggest school in Newark. And, here I am, super preppied out. You know what I mean? The girls, oh, you in his squad now? Oh, you just joined? And yeah, how you doing, sweetheart? They're coming to my party. You know what I'm saying? And it was just him from afar interacting, watching how he interact with, with the other students and other people. And I think it was his way of seeing if he made a good choice. And, we got in the truck. It was just a debrief like, yo, you did good. You got to be a little bit more vocal. They're going to come to you, you know what I mean? But you got to go to them. And, he fed us and took me home around the corner. It was like, yo, we got another meeting next Sunday, you know what I'm saying, at the house, 1:00. I'm saying like, damn, bro, I got church. But all right, cool. I'll be there. So we made it work, man. And it was history from there, man. And it just grew and became something in me. It was like a bug bit me. And so when I came to school, went to Morris Brown,
Was that your first time promoting though? Period. Was
in high school?
Squad
Yes.
in high school?
Excuse me. I had always gone to the parties though. We had snuck out going to the parties. We had, my mom worked nights. She worked from 11 to 7 a.m. So my mom went to work by 11:45. I had thrown on some jeans, a North Face, some Timbs, and I had, jumped out my window and met my boys and my one boy who had a car, and we went in his parents' van, and we went to the spot. And I know I made sure I was home, in a decent time, just in case my mom called me to check on me. You know what I mean? So it was wild. I don't even know if I told her that before. Damn, she gonna see
that's so deep. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, man.
It's good, but honestly, that's so many people's story. That was mine. My mom used to not let me go out in high school. But she loved my best friends, like my cousin, my best friend aunt. I used to be able to like stay at his house. She'll let me stay at his house, and his mom, my auntie D, she'll let us go. So I would have to go to his house. We'll go. And then once I got my whip, I used to be like, hey, bro, I'm with you. Just if she answers, like, just I'm with you. Right. I used to do all the whole thing. So trust me, we had to do what we had to do to go to the function. As we say out here, we had to do what we had to do to go to the function.
Yeah, man. We so it was cool. So when we got to Morris Brown, they lost their accreditation, which was a very interesting situation. Actually found out in the lunchroom talking to a mentor, actually one of the people who got me interested in my fraternity. It's all public information. But living it was a lot, man. So he told us all these things that was going on, and that evolved into us having an accelerated semester. They told us that our credits won't be good after, I think, April 15th. So school stopped March 15th. So literally from January to March 15th was my entire spring semester. So
get that. This is your first freshman year?
My first freshman year, bro. Swear to God. I was 17.
I'll get to Atlanta, and then they tell me, that would be
literally, it was literally.
I would be like, I'm going back to Jersey. Fuck
bro, I had to call my mom. Like, they had a meeting. I never forget. They had a meeting about that in the gym, Morris Brown Gym, infamous Morris Brown Gym. The whole school's in there. And, everybody had heard the rumbles, and they basically had told us that, hey, it was going to be this situation. This is what we're looking at. We'll get this place called SACS, which is the accreditation board, is going to tell us where we stand. And we'll know in 2 weeks. And we'll come back and have this meeting. We came back and had that meeting. They started the meeting like a damn interview. You know what I mean? We regret to inform you. He never finished his speech. Boo! People started throwing shit. It was damn near a riot in there. News came. People just upset and angry.
So wait a minute, Korey. Hold on. It's families in there. It's kids in there. It's everyone in this gym. And then he says, I regret him. And then a riot happens, basically.
Pandemonium.
Not a riot. Pandemonium.
People were throwing stuff. I mean, it was crazy. It was a crazy moment. You had to really be there. And it was a closed door meeting. And social media wasn't prevalent. So you'll never see footage of it. You'll never see anything. It's one of the things you just had to be there. The amount of tears, grown people, you got to think, man, these are people who were, think about the graduating senior. You know what I mean? I know people now who got 2 years added to their matriculation because of what they were majoring in at Morris Brown, what credits they had taken, and that nobody else were accepting those credits. So they never finished school. It was a semester away. It's a lot of different things. But here I am, this kid who's 17 years old, who's made a choice to turn down football scholarships in Pennsylvania and in Delaware and places like that to go to Georgia because I didn't want to be in some random hick town, right? To go be my family and to go in to be in this fun place. And I decided to go against the grain and go to this place and have, my life change. And that's exactly what happened. And how do I call my mom and tell her, hey, I don't have any school to go to anymore? And that's what I had to do. So there were tears, man, and it was rough. And then that next semester went through the accelerated semester. They pretty much gave us all A's so that we could transfer. And I actually I think I left in April. I came back in June. And from June to late August, I was up there every other day, literally trying to get myself in the cart.
Morehouse. Wait a minute. You knew, so wait a minute. So you go home after not being, school, and then you come back to Atlanta. You're I'm gonna go back again. Like, you knew there was no school.
I went home. My mom sent for me, like, yo, just come down here, bro. Come back. You know what I mean? She was tight. And I spent that time trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Was I going to go back to playing football? Was I going to see if these scholarships were still available to me? I had already gotten this taste of Atlanta. I know I wanted to be there, but I didn't have a way to stay there. But she was like, yo, you going to be in school. So I'm like, well, Clark Atlanta was recruiting me to come when I was in school. Let's see if the recruiter. And I couldn't find this lady. So I went down there every day just to see what financial aid looked like. Literally, my mom said, you want to be in Atlanta? I did everything that you needed me to do up until this point. I did it for you. You didn't really have to lift a finger. You know what I mean? I did everything that you asked me to do. Go get yourself in school. So I moved down there. Literally, she said, I'll get you an apartment. Got me an apartment where I wanted. Got a car for my aunt. Spent like $500 on a car. And after that, I was on my own, bro. And
you're 18?
I'm 18 now. I turned in January on my accelerated semester. 18 years old.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing, but here's the thing, Korey. It's like, here's where I'm at. This is like a fucking movie. Because this is your first freshman year. I thought my freshman year was fucking crazy and turned up.
Oh, nah, man. This was rough. And so I came down. I got in school. Basically, I literally walked by the lady in the hallway. No bullshit. The same lady I had been looking for. Financial aid wasn't moving. I'm like, oh my God, Miss Camille. She was from Jersey. So here we are. I'm like, yo, you don't remember me? You came to my high school when I was a junior, tried to recruit me. We really wasn't with it. I'm trying to get into school right now, and I don't know what to do, who to talk to, but I got to be in school and time is running out. She said, take down my number, take down my email, send me all your information, and I'll get you in school. I literally emailed this lady. I forgot her last name, but her first name is Camille. Miss Camille, I emailed her my number, my email, my social, how many credits I had and stuff like that. And that lady put me in school. To this day, I have not got an acceptance letter from Clark Atlanta, but I have a degree from Clark Atlanta. Crazy. Can't tell you what a freshman intake packet looked like. None of that.
Wait a minute. So you've never been formally invited to come formally accepted into Clark Atlanta University?
I don't have it. Wish I had it. I never.
So you came into Clark on quote unquote the jug.
Literally,
like
she put me
in on the jug.
She put me in school and gave me my first classes.
And you just swagged it out since then. You're like, all right, this is my last basically opportunity.
That's it. I put my head down and made it happen. That's all it was.
Wow. So you had an apartment at the time? So you were living off campus. So you never lived in the dorms?
Not at Clark, nope. Only at Morris Brown. I lived in the infamous towers that aren't there anymore at Morris Brown.
Got you. So you've been on your own since you're 18, literally in Atlanta.
Yep.
Going in. Like in on your own, like school, and then I go off campus and I damn near gotta work and figure it out.
Yep.
So what were you doing for money? Like, how'd you afford it? Like, were you working?
Hustling family. But then I worked at Circuit City.
Shout out Circuit City.
Shout out Circuit City, man. You know what I mean? Best Buy took us out, but it's all good. You know what I mean?
Best Buy. You said Best Buy took us out, but it's you still seem hot about that. I saw it in your face.
Yeah, man.
Like, yo, it's
it was
all
rough,
good, though,
man. Like, cause you know what I mean? Like, yo, what's Circuit City? And I'm like, it's basically Best Buy, but red. Red color. It was the blood.
Best Circuit City's the blood version of you're stupid as shit. But now, so transitioning now.
Go for it.
Hit Squad Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
When does this start? How does that start? Because I didn't know about Hit Squad in New Jersey.
Right.
Joining in. Yeah. When you're a freshman, and let me just give some I want to give pretext because I know you're humble and I know you're going to talk about it like it's just something good that you've done, but let me be real. Freshman year coming into Clark Atlanta University in 2009. I'm just going to go to 2009 and we can go back. I remember walking into campus. It was the Olive Branch. I always talk about that event. It was And if people that don't know, in Atlanta, it's Spelman College, Morehouse College, and Clark Atlanta University. We're all within like a football field away from each other, basically. Yep. And all the freshmen come together, but Spelman stays locked up for like the first 2 weeks of orientation, or a week or a couple days of orientation. Morehouse is basically like that, but we're open. So sometimes people like the upperclassmen come out, but the freshmen, you don't see them. We don't even know what they look like. It's like an unveiling. It's the greatest setup. I love it. I get it. I don't know, but on the Clark Atlanta perspective, that's how it was.
Came up with it.
We walked. Yes, it was great. We walk in there, and then they make us go through like the orientation through the church, which is great. They talk about the AUC unity, you know, how we need to come together and, you know, be good, all that. And it's a big deal, but that's the part of what I'm trying to get to. The Olive Branch party is the first party that you get introduced as a square in Atlanta where you don't know nobody. I'm sure some niggas in Atlanta knew people, so they were going to clubs already, but I didn't know nobody. We didn't know where no clubs were. You go there, and it was just literally the biggest party you can ever do. But that's where I realized, I was like, that's like the hunting grounds for every party promoter in Atlanta, because they're all there, like all the OGs. And it was like, I love how Atlanta was set up, because it was like, if you didn't hoop or play sports or something, or you weren't a part of a frat, you did party promoting. It was a third option that no one ever talks about. There's no brochures. There's no movies about. It is a third option to make it. And it's actually marketing, because that's why I learned my marketing. That's why I learned my gift and got a lot of my talking. I always knew how to talk, always do it, but then you see it at those parties, because I didn't know nobody. But I was like, me and my homies in the dorm was like, they were all on my bumper. Like, Big C, you ain't got no bitches. You ain't gonna get no hoes. You ain't gonna talk to nobody. I was like, bro, like, I'm from Cali, bro. Like, I ain't one of these niggas, like, you just know. One of them. But I was like, all right, bro, like, let's go. We go to the party. I'm on every feet, like, going in. It's the best part. I'm talking to every female. It was one of the best nights of my life. Can't lie. Great. Next week, Paul. I see Paul on the promenade. I see you. Like, not even you. I didn't even meet you yet. You're like a ghost. Like, you're there, but maybe not there. And I see the hit squad representative. There was a lot of them. And then they came up to me, was like, yo, come to the meeting. What's good? You trying to do it? I was like, bro. And he was like, yeah, but just don't say nothing. Like, don't make it a big old, like, just come. I was like, all right. Bro, long story short, those parties and those interactions with Hit Squad was so big because it was ran like a serious organization that literally provided entertainment for thousands of kids, thousands of young adults who knew no one in Atlanta. And it was like, this is your opportunity to learn Atlanta. We'll give you the golden pass.
Yeah.
How did you transition to that, man? How did that happen, bro?
Man, you know,
big ups, by the way. I just had to give you your flowers, like, as a real one, like, I had to give you all flowers, man. Too.
I appreciate that, man. Big up to Tory T, man. He showed the way. What I understood once I got older was that he saved a lot of lives. I actually said this at his funeral in front of his family, and I said, I don't want y'all to take for granted what he did. You know, y'all know he was a DJ. I'm not sure how much I knew about his life, but he saved kids' lives. You know, there wasn't, you know, Jersey started getting really, really bad. You know, the gang shit got really, really bad. The turf wars got really, really bad. We low-key looked like LA in the 90s for a little bit right there. Color banging and things like that. And
bro, Jersey's no joke, bro. For people that don't know, Jersey's one of Newark. Yeah, shout out Jersey. All my people's in Jersey, but it's real. There ain't no that's a real place.
and it got bad, man. It got really bad, and people were scared, you know, and my mom was one of those people. So to tell her, you know, and everybody kind of gets into sports and things like that, but to tell her that I was doing something different was kind of hard for her to understand. Like, she had to go meet Tory. Like, oh, let me go see this guy you chilling with. And growing up under him and being with my peers, it kind of showed me a sense of togetherness. Same thing that I would get on the field when I played a sport. And that translated when I came to school, man. I've always been, I'm only child, so I've always been taught to go and meet people and be personable and things like that. So I never had a
Same. I'm an
problem.
only child too. So
Yeah,
yeah.
so when you said, you were walking around and you was talking, I think you're definitely more vocal and outgoing than I was, which is what, made us look at you. Like,
Yeah.
who is this kid who has, ain't no shame in his game. He talking to everybody. His look is different. His voice is different. You know what I mean? And he's got this chip on his shoulder. So I saw myself in you. So that's how you get to the table. You know what I mean? Honestly.
Man, right.
And that's how it was
Appreciate that,
talked.
man.
It was talked up. Like, yo, I got this kid. Paul literally said it to me. He said, bro, I found somebody who is a sexier fat guy than me. That was his exact words. And I was like, what?
Shout out Paul. Shout out Sir Paul, man. That's my bro. That's my bro. I saw him with the head that said, I'm the sexiest fat guy. Bro. I said, hey, bro, take it. I feel you, bro. For sure.
And that's how he did it. And he was like, yo, this guy, Big C. And I'm like, word. And that's just really what it was, man. They bigged you up, and that's how we knew. But that essence is kind of what grew me into who I was. Long story short, man, I went to parties from 17 as a freshman to that 18-year-old freshman year, 18 to 19 at Clark, Atlanta. And in those 2 years, I kind of just studied and just watched things. I knew I was probably going to throw parties. I just didn't know to what aspect. My first thought was, I'll join somebody's crew. That's what I knew, right? I'll join the crew and I'll be a general. You know what I'm saying? And I watched it, man. And it was dudes. I'm 36 now. It was guys throwing 36 throwing parties for freshmen, and it just was like, there was no young team. It was just, they go get the venue, they open it up, and people coming because they had nothing else to do. And I was like, there was a disconnect. We were, we wanted to hear different DJs. The DJs weren't doing different shit. They were throwing tri-state parties, but the DJs weren't giving the essence of what we heard in Philly and New York and Jersey and Connecticut. There was a lot of different things that we had issues with, but there was nobody to talk to. There was nobody to consult.
Right.
And at the time, old Buckhead was there. This is Buckhead where you could walk around. This is Buckhead when it was, parties didn't stop till 6 a.m, but they went to 4 in Buckhead, and people were mad. What? Only 4 a.m? Nigga, we don't. The whole state's in 3 a.m. now. But that's
for people that don't know, Atlanta is the only place that has clubs that you would get out the club at 6 a.m.
That's true.
7 a.m. It would be bright outside, and you're walking out,
and it was very normal.
Like real clubs, though. It was popping the whole time. You didn't even notice it was that late.
Right. So we had you had old Buckhead, man. You could either go party in this district, and so old Buckhead is now shops at Buckhead now. So now they've turned it into a mini Rodeo Drive, to be honest with you. And it looks gorgeous over there, but it used to be nothing but clubs over there. It was literally like a strip with just like a bar crawl. And if you do parties in there, you were the upper echelon. Of course, you had things on the east side and the south side.
What kind of people would be in it? What at this time? What celebrities would be at these parties?
Everybody.
You would say
this is where everything started. This is where, of course, you get your Atlanta people who are just growing. Usher's growing, Luda's growing. Little John and JD are the biggest people. Dallas Austin, the biggest people in the city.
Wow. So it's like 02, 03?
02, 03.
Yeah.
Luda's just busting in the scene. T.I. just jumped on his verse with Bone Crusher. Little Scrappy there. Crunk movement is going on. The South is basically ran by Little John. And him screaming on tracks. Fight music is prevalent.
Hey, how was B.I.B.I. in the club in Atlanta at his height? I've never...
Amazing, bro.
Amazing.
Amazing, bro. Just the people who on that record, what I'm saying, the voices, the understanding of who is who, it gave you a look in everybody's hood and who was there. And fight music was just really, really big, bro. And that was a very big transition for me, because when people start pushing in the club, somebody usually dies in Jersey after that. Whereas that was like, it was mosh pitting essentially, in its own right. Anyway, we saw this void. We saw how the parties kind of cultivated and how things were done. But we didn't see our representation there, which was the younger voice. I remember having a conversation with this gentleman called Rashawn Hassan. He ended up being SGA president. He's from Newark as well. He's in politics in Newark now. And me and Rashawn were talking. I'm like, yo, what are you gonna do? And he's like, shit, I'm thinking I'm gonna run. And this is a true ass conversation. We're like, we dapping up. I'm gonna go pick up a TV from my man. I never forget it. And he stayed in the football dorm. And I went over there, saw him out there. I'm like, yo, you going back home? He's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go back home. I'm like, I'm gonna go home, but I'm gonna go get a job and I'll be back. He's like, yeah, probably me too. He said, but I'm coming back early because I'm about to do this SGA shit. I'm like, word? Are you trying to run for SGA? Like, yeah, that's dope, bro. I'm like, yo, whatever you need, I got you. He's like, no doubt. I'm like, he's like, what you gonna do? I'm like, man, I might throw these parties, bro. I'm like, this shit been ass. And I'm like, he's like, yeah, I might do that too. Let me know how I can help. I'm like, all right, cool. Going into that next semester, we got behind his campaign. And he became SGA president. You know what I'm saying? And
so that was the first time you saw marketing work in its finest, you would say, on campus, your power or your influence that you had.
That was when I knew I had something different. That was the first time. And the second time was when a Morehouse Q, I never forget, he came up to me. All his brothers were out there. They were hopping, doing their thing. And we came over literally. So imagine, you know how it used to be when the Greeks was, everybody's looking and want to be in that area. And we came down the promenade, dapping, kissing babies and, doing what we do. And the nigga said, oh shit, they go his squad. And he came and said, hey bro, come here. I'm gonna be honest. And everybody knows this is a Morehouse Q. On Clark Atlanta's in front of McFeeder's Dennis, and he's like, bro, honest to God, y'all the only niggas that's popping out here as the fraternities and sororities are. And that struck a light bulb to me, and I was like, oh shit. This is at a time that there's nobody throwing parties at Clark Atlanta except us and the dudes who essentially moved out of place. Morehouse had their people. They had Envious and they had Dream Team. Shout out to Lyric, shout out to Tori, shout out to Herb, JP, and that whole crew. But on Clark, we didn't have anything like that. So with that being said, man, I saw the void, and I, one of the old heads came up to me, a gentleman by the name of AJ Productions. Him, Bocce, and Metro Boys were throwing a homecoming party at the atrium, and literally said to me, hey, bro, why don't you put a team together and come throw this party with us? So I'm thinking, like, let me go get my niggas together, because we had been going every weekend.
Can we talk about the atrium for 1 second, please?
Go for it.
Because I think it's a lot of people that, because you've been in Atlanta so many, you're dropping big names of places that are like huge. Atrium can fit 2,000 people comfortable. 2,000. It could get crazier. I've been to some parties where I'm sure the number we're not going to discuss, but we'll just say it was one of the best parties. A foam party was there. We had a foam party in Atlanta. A pool was in there.
It was it was a nice space.
It was on the east side of Atlanta, right? It's on the east side, right? Atrium. Yep. Man, that was a good time. So Atrium is one of the biggest clubs I've ever been to in my life.
Yeah, man.
Besides Compound, but that's something different. Yeah, that's something different. But go ahead, my fault.
Yeah, man, we just saw the void, man. They basically said, hey, why don't you come throw this party with us?
Yeah.
And I was kind of confused at what that meant. Because every weekend I had built up my tri-state crew, and it wasn't like it was my crew, it was like all of us. We were the people who were the ones who people looked at as crazy. It was called mean mugging at the time, mugging. You know what I mean? Every time from the club, the up north niggas is here. So we said, fuck it, we the up north niggas. You know what I mean? If someone had one of the up north niggas, we all fighting, and we fought every weekend. Somebody somewhere at somebody's club, and we were known to just mob out. You know what I mean? We had our girls. You know what I'm saying? We went and did
y'all was them niggas in the club ready to get down. I ain't come to the club ready.
But you got to think it was 40, 50 of us, though. Like, no bullshit. And it's like every nigga from New York, every nigga from New Jersey. And all we had to know is that you were from up top and hear you talk. Like, yo, where you from? Yo, come fuck with us. And it just was like that. You know what I'm saying? And it grew. And I'm still friends with a lot of those gentlemen to these days. Some gentlemen came to my wedding. I went to their weddings. Things happen, we're there for each other to this day. And everybody's growing their own right. But we mobbed out, man. And I'm thinking, like, well, shit, when we get that crew together and throw the party, like, you know, you ain't gonna live off our name. We had done that like maybe 3 weeks before. We did a white tee, blue jeans party. We went to it. And what I did was I told everybody, we gonna go get t-shirts made, and everybody put their state on their t-shirt. So the Connecticut niggas got us, like I literally did you know what I mean? It said where you from on the front of it, and it had an outline of your state. So, and then on the back, you could shout out whoever your peoples were. So it was like, yo, shout out to my nigga, and then you'd have that person lane. So that was the whole t-shirt. You know what I mean? And it had like tri-state on the arm. So I had 40 niggas do this to the point that my Jersey niggas like, yo, I'm coming down for that party. So we all got on white tees and blue jeans. We mobbed in this party. And that was actually probably the first time I knew I had a little bit of power, before there was Hit Squad, because I got all these people in for free. Here I am walking up with 40 niggas. They told me, yo, bring a crew. I brought 40 niggas, and we all walked through the front door. And it was like, oh, we fuck with Korey.
But out of them 40 niggas, how many people did you think you brought to the atrium?
I think we brought a big crew of that. Everybody up north moved with us. If you were from up north, you moved with us up north. Yeah. That up north crew at that time. It just was what it was. It was unsaid. Right. So beyond those 40 people who were in t-shirts that we knew we bought, because I mean, we literally bought all the t-shirts at the fucking gas station. Like literally went in there. It was like, how many shirts you got? Give them all to me. You know what I mean? It was a big feeling for us. Small things. At
that moment. No. That's right. Big. Bro, 40, 50 motherfuckers moving in unison.
Right. Right.
For one cause.
And there's a picture, man, with maybe about 15, 20 of us in the picture who made the picture at that time. You know, we're throwing all types of gang signs and shit up. And I think I have it on my Instagram. It's definitely on my Facebook.
We need that picture. We need that throwback picture.
Yeah. And it was a good moment, man. And so from there, I'm thinking like, damn, is that what he talking about? He's like, yo, just get together, your crew. And what you gonna do? What y'all gonna call yourselves? I'm like, I don't know yet. Like, I'll get back to you. I mean, what you need? He was like, shit, I need I think he said 5,500. I was like, but when? He's like, tomorrow. And I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. And I walked off like, nigga, how the fuck I'm gonna get 5,500 by tomorrow? So
why'd you need 5,500?
That was the buy-in for the party. For
they're going for the homecoming.
35% of the party. So here's a few things that I learned. Here's a few things. I didn't see a receipt, so I don't know what we paid for and how much it was in real truth and actuality. I gave a blind $5,500 to some people who I really didn't know. I'll say that they got over a little bit, some of them. But to who got over, I don't know. But that was a part of the game, so I'm not mad about that in any way.
No, it happens.
But it was a learning curve. So the hard part about this was, so I left this meeting, and this is the God's honest truth of how His Squad was born, bro. I walked from one side of the promenade, which is the strip of where our schools are. I walked from McFeeder's Dentist and had a conversation with about 4 of the gentlemen who you know are in the His Squad. In that conversation, it's me, Brian, Jamal, and Kamal. We were walking, and we were talking about it. Me and Brian, Jamal, Kamal had been. Yeah, we had been in His Squad in Jersey, so we had familiar understanding. I'm like, yo, we could get on this party. We just got to get this nigga some money. And he was like, all right, cool. Hard part about that is it's about 5 o'clock in the day, so ain't no banks open. So everybody has a limit on what they can get out the bank. We all had student cards, so you weren't getting more than $250 out without going.
That park card.
Right. And then he needed the money at 9 o'clock in the morning. I didn't know what that meant or anything like that, but the bank don't open till 9. So we walk in, we sitting here trying to figure this shit out. We started having the conversation from McFeeder's Dentist down to the library. We stopped at the library. A few more people came up. Mike Bradshaw came up. Anthony Adigby came up. Mikhail Oliver came up. And Joshua Spruill came up. So we're all talking to that and the other. Rashawn Hassan, who I had talked to that semester before, he comes up and we start having a conversation as well. Everybody there is from New Jersey. Randomly. And he's he's having the conversations and other, and I'm like, yo, we about to fuck around and have this party, be on this homecoming shit. He's like, word? Like, yo, you did that shit. I said, yo, I told you, I'm hungry out here. We're gonna get it in. I was like, yo, we about to go talk. We about to go talk in our sister's room. Monet's from New York. Shout out my sister Monet. And we'll talk in her room. I was like, all right, cool. And I'm like, yo, you coming? And this dude named Kayomi, who's our ghost member, but Kayomi comes up and we're all talking whatever like that. And I'm like, yo, You come in, he's like, yeah, I gotta run up here to this SGA office real quick to put in something. So the 9 people I walk with, and then Ish came because I called him as a 10th person. Those 10 people that came to that room were the 10 people who started his squad. By chance. Everybody just happened to be from New Jersey. I only made one phone call to somebody else. We went in there and had a conversation that evolved. Ant came as well. Ant's gonna kill me for giving this number. Turned into our cut being $45,000.
Wow.
Right. So you think of $40,000 profit, split 10 ways, for the first time ever throwing a party.
So let's just keep the figures right. So you had because I'm a numbers person and
Gotcha.
people's on it. It was a $5,500 initial buy-in. And then from that, you grossed a $40,000 profit in the black. And that you split on the first flip. And you split that in. So everyone made like 4 G's basically each.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fucking tight. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's looking hard. $3,500 profit on the first one. Oh, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'd have dropped out. I'm extreme. I'm extreme. I'd be like, oh, I'm over it. Yep, we did this shit.
Right, man. We did that shit and it just was like, yo, this is what we've been missing out on. And from there, it was like, all right, cool. What we gonna do next? I was like, yo, we're gonna set up another one. We're gonna make it work. Don't know why I spend no money because we're gonna have some more money to buy in. Let's not get in this position. And the first thing the niggas did, we had our next meeting. Everybody had on a new outfit, new shoes. One of my mans went and fucking bought a car, and I'm sitting here just like, bruh, what are y'all doing? But it was a good situation, man. And we flopped the next 2. But we had to get our foot in, man. We had to get our foot in.
Wait, so you threw the first big one that hit for homecoming, and then the next one after that
immediately. It was at this place called Club A out here where I live now, about 35. Mind you, the atrium was already 30 minutes away from school, but it was 30 minutes, off the 20. So it was an easy thing. You went to the 20, you made 2 lefts, and you literally drove into the atrium. It was literally that simple. I literally remember it to this day. Whereas this was on the south side, past the airport, which nobody went in Morrow, Club A, in this random ass parking lot. And then everybody was throwing parties. So the copycat game was really bad then. So if I threw a party at Compound, somebody would throw a party that looked like my party at Compound the next week. There was a lot of repetition of just different things. So
you didn't know whose party was who at a point. So how'd you end up branding?
Very good point. So that brings me to the next part. I realized that nobody knew these niggas who were throwing parties. I knew them because I was getting in free at the door. I was coming up there with my niggas. We were dropping the VIP price because we didn't like to stand in lines early on. You know what I mean? That's how I knew. But I knew that people was like, oh, I'm going to party at the atrium. Well, I'm going to party this Saturday. That bothered me. I want people to always know that they party with Hit Squad, or they party with Big C, or they party with Korey, or they party with Paul or Ant. And that was important. So when we started that company, it was about everybody being apologetically themselves, because you're the person selling it. What I learned from Tory T was that he was creating stars inside of a big company. I want to do the exact same thing with y'all. Whoever you are, Big C, I want you to be the best Big C possible. I want my brand to make Big C bigger, because Big C is going to make me more money, which is going to make him more money, and so on and so forth. That was the marriage.
Bingo.
That was the marriage.
But it's funny, you say it's so simple. Like, oh yeah, you just do this and do this. That theory is the hardest thing to accomplish on a mass production scale in college, from niggas who probably never had nothing. And a lot of them is doing it for pussy. Excuse my language, but pussy or drugs or something that has nothing to do with progression.
Right.
It's the man with the plan. I ain't Clark Kent, but some of the ladies do call me Superman. It's your boy, Big Cali. And I want to talk to you about my new podcast, Big Cali World and Argoon Radio. Coming at you with some of the hottest, newest content coming out of Southern California, the world. Man, let's just say the world, because we covering all bases. You dig me? You can listen to both of these podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, wherever else podcasts are heard. You can also find it on BigCaliWorld.com. And you know what? From other people out there, you can watch both of these podcasts as well as other fresh content on my YouTube page. Just look up Big Cali World and go ahead and subscribe today. You dig me? Let's go. What I wanted to talk to you about is so you branded Hit Squad, had the logo, started recruiting. Like, when did that? You were like, okay, I need to start recruiting more people than just who my peoples are. And how did that party? And then I want to go into Oak. And then after that.
So we basically understood early on, and I understood early on, that our celebrity was driving any of this. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it was basically about duplication. We're getting older. We're going to be out of school sometime. We never thought that we would be able to do it once we got out of school. So now a clock was ticking. Now it's shit. It's 05. I get out of school in 07. How the fuck do I keep this shit going? Who do I pass this to next? Who's the next graduating class? That's what Hit Squad did back home. Somebody graduated, it was new kids. It was incoming freshmen. And, you know what I mean? New popping kid, you know what I mean? The new young gunners. Who's our new young gunners? And that's literally what it was. There was a company called YRD on campus, Young, Rich, and Dangerous.
I love that name.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great marketing. I loved everything about it. And the kid wanted to be a part of my company. And he's the first person I told no. And it wasn't no to be an asshole. It was no because I saw more in his company than he did. And I'm like, bro, you got something good going on. Like, you don't want to be a part of my shit. You know what I mean? You're not going to live here well. You know what I'm saying? You're going to want to be the boss at some point because that's what's inside of you. And that's true. He resented me for it. He didn't understand it. But, you know, later on in life, we talked about it and he understood. But inside of that, man, he did some really bad business early on. And he turned off some of the people he was working with. And they honestly just came over and was like, yo, listen, we're looking for a good home to be ourselves. And while we fuck with homie, he didn't do right by things. And we took him with open arms, man. We just said, all right, cool. And it just grew from there, man. And they were so outward as people. And then they were the first Morehouse people we had as well. Shout out to my man Rich, my man Brent, Tony, and Brandon. Those were our first young gunners. And then Jamar Rodriguez. And they were all Morehouse kids who had that same swag. They were from different places, Texas, and Delaware. And it was a newfound thing that we hadn't seen. These were cool kids. And
was this around the same time that the documentary came out about you guys?
This is literally a semester after the documentary. Because all the stuff you've seen in the documentary was that playing out. You saw them, they had just left the company, YRD, and we were meeting with YRD, who was a company had basically had a fall from grace. You know what I mean? They came out the game. Their first event was, this kid was Mr. Freshman, I think, at Morehouse. And he had some contacts with some studios to get Lil Wayne. And they found out how to get some investors to go and get Lil Wayne to do a concert at Morehouse. And they were the only party promoters on it. So think about it. This is Lil Wayne, you know, when he's, you know, best rapper alive, since the best rapper retired. Yeah. This is Wayne when he's in his prime, killing everything, super scissored up, you know what I mean, like killing. And here they are about to throw a concert with this nigga at Morehouse.
This is 07, 06, so. 07.
And I'm sitting here just like, what the fuck? How did they pull that off? You know, niggas on my ass like, Korey, why y'all don't do that? And I'm like, nigga, I don't know how to get the Lil Wayne. And I went to this concert. Something happened financially where I think they didn't have the back end for Lil Wayne. And Lil Wayne pulled up with his tour bus and literally said, I'm not coming in without the back end. And they were stalling. And I was backstage seeing all this shit. I never forget, man. Ant was with me and looked at me. He was like, bro, should we just go? What if we can go give Lil Wayne that $10,000 right now? I think it was $10,000. And I was like, I don't know, but how does that translate to this being our event now? Do we bail these niggas out? Like, what do we do? And he was like, well, I mean, I could probably figure out. Ant's always been really good with money. So we were talking about
Shout out Ant, by the way. I used to love pulling up to Ant's house. When you go to Ant's house,
money time.
It was a good feeling. It was a good vibe. When you go to Ed's crib, man.
Absolutely.
He always took care of me, man. Y'all
Yeah.
always say, my bad. Side note, I can always do that all day, man. That's
it's all good, man. But
so did y'all go see? Did
y'all
go bail them out, or
we let it play out, man? And as it played out, man, they started throwing shit. You know, I keep getting these gems, and people start throwing shit. People throwing bottles and
I'm gonna say
they went up there like, you know, we forget to inform you that Lil Wayne won't be performing tonight. It was just, and you got to think, people knew it wasn't. They knew he was there, so they didn't understand it. They like, you know, they knew it was some janky promoter shit. Because if Lil Wayne doesn't show up, they're like, oh well, you know, Wayne did some janky shit. Wayne was there. Everybody knew his tour bus was there.
That was a good chess move, then. That was good. You gotta let it burn sometimes.
Yeah,
it sucks. It's
and I didn't know,
to say no.
I didn't know what it was gonna be. I just didn't see how it benefited us.
Right. And the event's already happening. It was already
at the event. Right.
You can't go up there like, hey guys, so now it's our event and we're the reason it happened. So Lil Wayne, like, no, that ain't gonna work, bro. I get it.
Yeah.
So after that happened, that's where the Void came in, and that's where the Soldiers came in.
Yep.
And then, so this is 06, 07. I came to Clark in 09.
Yeah, you got a real good taste of. So by the time you get there, I'm probably the most cockiest person on the planet at that point, because I've endured so much in those past couple years. On top of the fact that I had just graduated, so here I am learning that, damn, I can still do this after school. But what I did in school was so big. Niggas still want me to do shit. And I think I had just started throwing homecoming too. You know, throwing homecoming concerts. So I'm like on top of the world.
And were you doing that? Or how did you even fool that? Is that because of just the SGA people? Like all your friends that was in SGA at the time?
Man, the gentleman by the name of Jamal Coleman, who's one of my mentors as well. He's a former SGA president at Clark Atlanta, alumni president, and very heavy Clark Atlanta influencey, as well as an Atlanta tastemaker, but on a corporate side, corporate entertainment side, Essence Magazine, just things of that nature. With that being said, he basically was doing the concerts, and I asked him to intern. Nothing more, nothing less. Like, hey, let me learn under you. I like this entertainment shit, and it just became my show after a while. Like I literally started running the entire show for him, and it wasn't a money thing for me. It was just like, let me see how good I can do. And I just got.
You're booking artists for like the homecoming con.
First it was just being a stage manager. First it was being a runner. Then it was being a stage manager. Then it was running the entire production. Then it was choosing the stage, to choosing the artist, going and meeting with Young Jock and giving him his money, and wiring T-Pain his money, and literally doing things I hadn't done before.
So that's how, so I couldn't figure out. That's why I said the illusion of you. Because I remember as a freshman, we go to the homecoming concert, we go everywhere, and you were always like there, like in there though. And I was like, like, I know you were a student,
right?
But you weren't really like an SGA president or like ASB or none of that.
It was a lot of backroom conversation, man. Like, so my mentor Chaka Zulu is also Ludacris's manager.
And if people don't know him, they need to Google him. That's a very, very powerful, very informative. He is Atlanta. Like, if you know Atlanta, a lot of Atlanta shit, I learned that just from working. His name always gets brought up in conversation.
Always.
So shout out,
he's our godfather here, and he happens to be my personal mentor, and I just so happened to go when I was matriculating. I left this part out and started interning at DTP, Disturbing Peace Records.
That's how the gotcha.
So with that being said, that kind of gave me an understanding of strategic marketing through Portia Kirkland and Aisha Obafemi and Jeff Dixon, just kind of showing me the ropes of how to move. And the class of people that I interned with are all big names to this point, that the former director of marketing for Def Jam, who's the new director of marketing, I believe she's at Capitol or Warner right now. Forgive me, Shanae, if you see this. Shanae Wright. She was an intern with me, you know what I'm saying? And she started answering the phones in DTP. She's the director of marketing over an entire label now. Paris Kirk, he's at Spotify. Shit. Who else was there? JP was he's Luda's actual manager now, road manager.
And these are all the same interning class at
these are all
DTP.
Yeah, Rachel Jackson. She's at YouTube, an executive there.
Shout out Rachie.
Yeah, Rachie baby for sure. Sean and Tunde, they run the LVRN imprint, which houses Summer Walker and Rory, Drum, and just these are
what
all
the
the people
hell is in the water. What the hell?
And I don't know what they did different at DTP, but everybody who touched that arena and who got put there, Ronaldo Nehemiah, he's celebrity stylist to the stars. I mean, like everybody, Dean, Jesus, I can't forget Dean, one of the persons who put me in the game. He was at Reebok, and he's now director of global marketing at one of these record labels. I don't know, but
it's okay. It's okay.
I mean, but everybody who got touched in that situation moved on to be something bigger and better. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So this is my part of my story. But they sent me on tour. They sent me on tour with the Scream Tour with Bobby Valentino. And we did that, and we did the 50 Cent tour, where we followed 50 Cent's tour and did DTP shit. And, we had Chingy at that time. So this is when DTP was print money. You had Bobby V, Sharif was killing, doing her shit with Rodney Jerkins. I mean, we really couldn't catch a break. Bobby had just went gold, while on the Scream tour. This is when Omarion had just went solo, and he's dancing and shit. You know what I mean? And we're literally this is Pretty Ricky. This is crazy. All these people on this tour. B5, and they sent me on tour. This is when 50's popping. He just wrote his book. Just Corinne Steffens is popping. She had just wrote the Superhead book. Like, this is when social awareness starts really getting high. You know what I mean? The gossip, social gossip.
You're at the forefront of it all. Media.
I'm watching it all.
Wow.
I'm watching it all. And so that's kind of where I learned that. So when I came back to Atlanta, I was unfazed. I was moving at a different level now because I had seen so much. I had seen marketing.
And that's what I seen. Wow.
I saw big budget marketing. You know what I'm saying? I saw boardrooms. I saw Kevin Lau spaz out. I had seen Dame spazzing out. I seen Big Jeff spazzing out. You know what I'm saying? I had called Quincy Jones' house. You know what I'm saying? Like I had done a lot. I had been around a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Limos, Learjets, tour buses, and stuff like that. So by the time I came back to Atlanta, I was a different man. So my gear was different. I couldn't think like a student anymore. I couldn't think like a 22-year-old anymore. I was turned out. And I've been chasing that ever since. I know what the big games look like. I don't have to look at it on somebody else's social media. I've been there. I've done
shit, man.
And it ain't no pictures to prove it, man. I just got stories and understandings. I got people who say, hey, he was in the room. And that acknowledgement.
Well, here's the thing. It ain't even about the pictures. Sometimes, and I learned this growing up, the older I get, real niggas know. Fuck a picture, fuck an Instagram. Could you walk into a club, a bar, a lounge, and go to the nigga that owns this and talk to him and shake his hand and eat lunch and dinner, and he knows you? Like, bro, you had a picture with Kobe when I was in college. I saw you with a picture of Kobe. Legit, if you want to touch on that for a second, too.
Man, that was a great time, man. Chaka Zulu yet again, and that's why I can't ever take anything from DTP. Everybody else where the start comes from and where I really got my know-how. It comes from that arena of people, and the proof is there out of everybody who's come out of that house of Disturbing the Peace and Ebony Sun, in Luda Day weekend and things like that. But Chaka literally, we're really big Laker fans and Cowboys fans, and he's from New York, from Jersey, and it's weird. So it's just we have so many similarities. So, I find a guy, as a single mom, a product of a single mom and an only child, and I gravitated towards a guy who had like-minded qualities, right? So, us talking Laker shit and things like that on a regular basis just was normal. And I knew, he was a random, like, Chaka would be like, yo, I got tickets to WrestleMania, front row. You want to go? Because I'm busy. I'm going to eat at McDonald's right now. You want the tickets? Yeah, bro, that's cool. Or
yeah, for sure. That's some Atlanta shit, bro.
Real shit. Or like, yo, I got courtside tickets. I gotta run out of time to LA, right? Run out of time to LA. You want them? You know, they courtside, they TV seats. You want to go? When? In like 2 hours. Oh, all right, cool. So the Kobe thing was literally just like that. It was like, yo, what you doing? And he was like, I was like, headed to the crib. And he was like, come back downtown, meet me at this restaurant. I think it was Antigua Posta. And he was like, yo, meet me at this restaurant in Buckhead, or whatever like that. We're gonna sit down and eat with Kobe. I was like, all right, cool. And I got the phone like, nigga, what? The fuck did he just say? And I called him back like 4 times and he wouldn't answer. And I came home and I remember telling my girlfriend at the time, I said, yo, I think this nigga Chaka said we about to meet with Kobe and eat. But I don't see why he would want me to, like, what I got to talk to Kobe about. And, you know, I had started thinking about all the conversations because he'll do that randomly. Like, to this day, he will call me and be like, yo, I got Michael B. Jordan in town. We trying to move around. What you doing? What you got tonight? Literally, to this day. And I meet most of my stars just like that. And while Michael B. Jordan was doing Black Panther, literally, he was in town because they filmed that shit for like 2 months here. And he don't go out. He's from Jersey. He's like, yo, you should meet him. He brought him to the club. No problem.
That's so tight.
But if I'm not there, it's still the same conversation. Where should we go? Can you make a phone call? You know what I mean? And this is a man who can call anybody in the city, but he lets me make the phone call. You know what I'm saying? It's small, little, intricate details. But with that being said, man, literally, it just was an evolution, man, of just times in Kobe. It was me, one of the white boys who played like center. I don't know if it was Scola. I don't remember who the hell it was. And Kobe had 2 handlers there, and we just met and talked. The crazy shit about that meeting was seeing the world from his eyes. And it was just elevated, you know. Every time he needed something, he literally had a handler sitting maybe about 8 feet from behind him. And every time he did this, the handler would get up and just go to his ear like, yes, and just do whatever he needed. So one time he got up and he was like, and a guy had been there by the time his finger went up. And like, I mean, it was a girl. I'm sorry, it was a little Asian chick. She comes up and there's another. She goes to the car and gets a box. True story. And he's like, y'all want to show y'all this and whatever like that. I'm debuting these soon, but I ain't showed nobody for real. This is the first time that he showed, I guess, anybody, but for sure they hadn't been in the public yet, the low top shoes. I don't know if people remember. It was very controversial. Kobe started wearing those low top Nikes, and everybody just was like, what? He's wearing low tops and shit like that. And he showed them to us. And I thought he was out of his fucking mind. And I didn't know how to tell him, like, bro, there's a low top. There's a fucking cross trainer. Like, what are you doing?
You stupid.
But, you know, it caught its own wave, man, and it did well. But
he knew. He knew before.
He fucking knew, bro. But just seeing his perspective of life, man, and just how he was talking, and he knew everybody's game from the Hawks, and he talked about them as numbers. So instead of saying Josh Smith or, you know, whoever played for the team at the time, it was 15. He's really good in transition, and you know I gotta watch 11. His post moves are cool, but he's weak when it comes to the dribbles, so that's gonna be my rep all day. And I mean, he was just like he's talking like a computer. I mean, and it was crazy.
Wait, this is at dinner? He's talking like
at dinner. We just let him talk, bro. And it's just like, and I'm texting PK like, bro, is this shit fucking real? He's like, oh, I keep pinching myself. It's crazy. He's like, y'all don't know what to say. And then, like, you know, we overly laughing at shit because it's like we don't have anything to put into this conversation. But I'm gonna laugh at your joke, bro. And then he did the craziest shit ever. So the guy who's there is Italian. And, you know, this is where you start remembering who Kobe really is. And he comes up and, you know, Kobe asks him something about a man, but he starts talking to him in Italian fluently. But you got to remember, Kobe grew up in Italy.
And he knew Spanish too.
He was Spanish, so you know he's sitting there. He's sitting there. He's talking. His accents are there, and they're talking through the menu, and the guy's just like he's blushing because it's like, damn, this nigga sound like he from home. You know what I'm saying? He's sitting in front of me, and this is Kobe. You know what I mean? And we're just sitting there watching this shit in amazement. And it was just crazy, man. It was a surreal moment. And right before we about to go out, everybody had got their pictures, and I was like, I don't want to press on it. I'm like, that's Kobe, nigga. This is
I was about to say, bro.
You don't look up to a lot.
You don't ever
players.
take pictures with any of these celeb, by the way, too. All these celeb, I rarely see you pics.
They random. I'll get a few of certain people, right. But there's way more non-pictures than there are pictures. But this one, I was like, man, fuck it. And to me, it really wasn't even a good picture. It was taken on a BlackBerry, 8600. I'll never forget. It really was. Camera phones were really prevalent. And I took the picture, and that was what it was, man. He took it with no problem, and it wasn't no problem. You're like, no problem.
I remember you came back to the Hit Squad meeting, and you're like, yeah, just had dinner with Kobe, something like. I was like, who is this nigga? I was like, oh yeah, we about to go hard with the promo now. I was like, I got to get to where that shit is, and I'm glad. But the thing is, it wasn't like also because I don't want to create this narrative. You created young entrepreneurs. You were molding young marketers, young people that are go-getters that weren't from this city, this city, and we were promoting clubs in the city. Like niggas think I'll be in Atlanta because I know all the clubs. I think I worked all them clubs, but I was I was a freshman and all that kind of stuff, man. I was doing that, so man, I appreciate what you did for us, man. I appreciate that movement.
No problem,
I appreciate the whole thing, and I'm sure we got to do a part 2 of this too because it's so many more.
It's a lot.
It's so much more, man. It's so much more, bro. But I wanted before we go and get out of here, I want to hear about Oak because people. This is like one of the most popping clubs right now in Atlanta. Yeah, we talked about Hit Squad, the college days, but this shit transformed into now you're a club owner. Talk about Oak. What is the future of Oak and like, what's up, man? How did that even happen?
God is good, man. That's all I can say. We've always been in position, my friends and I, to always make the next step. Always, whoever's been praying for us and whoever's been having us in our good graces, and I guess all the things that we've put in the universe that were good have been just coming back to us full circle. And that's why you can see us, be involved with the Bar Vegans and, just different things going on around the city. And Oak Atlanta is just one of those testaments, man. A gentleman, want to say probably right around the end of when you were getting out of school, we started doing Club H2O on the east side. And that ended up turning into Club Libra. The gentleman who owned that was a gentleman by the name of D Money. And D and a few of his partners, Jacob York, Felix
Shout
Murray.
out Jacob York.
Right.
Very Atlanta legend.
Yeah. And those gentlemen, and, that's another person who's put me in a lot of good rooms and a lot of good conversations. Just off of his legend. I mean, he used to actually be the road manager with Biggie Smalls. So, I mean, there's a lot of different people who touch in Junior Mafia. Like those are people who actually knew Biggie, you know what I mean? Who actually, you know what I mean? Then, he managed Dipset. Like, I mean, just a lot of different cool things. But
I gotta have Jacob York on the podcast too, man.
You got to.
That'll be a
you're gonna need 3 of them. He got a lot to say.
Yeah.
He got a lot to say. He got a lot to say. But with that being said, man, because we did business back in the day, the owners of Cafe Circa owned this place called Elite Tavern, which ended up being Oak Atlanta. And we were looking because Super Bowl was coming to do something meaningful in the city, and we didn't own anything, and we wanted to get a good deal. So we was like, man, instead of trying to go get these big clubs who we know gonna go and do crazy numbers, why don't we go and try to get some low-hanging fruit and just do our own thing? Everything's gonna pop. But we have our own relationships with entertainers and football players and stuff like that. So
over the years from doing all this stuff,
so it was like, man, shit, we could book our own people. We don't gotta go through nobody. And we just told them, like, yo, let us have a spot for the weekend. Give us a number. Y'all not gonna do shit with it. Like, let us just throw some like straight parties. And it was like, yo, that'd be a great idea, but we're selling the place. Like, the ink's almost dry. Maybe we could call him and talk him into it. And like, this guy named P. Like, all right, cool. Let's call P. So she sets up a meeting, Mindy, who owned Cafe Circa, and basically meeting with me, myself, Lyric, and Pete. And me and Lyric were doing Cafe Circa at the time, her other spot. And I had went out of town, so I told Lyric to take the meeting. Lyric took the meeting. Somewhere in the conversation, he said something to the effect of, "I'm doing the event with Korey," and P basically says, "Korey, what did it look like?" And he was like, "He got hair." He's like, "Nah, he don't got hair." And he's like, "Oh, nigga, I know you used to have dreads." He's like, "Wait. Well, this guy used to have dreads." And he's like, "Wait." He's like, Korey with a K. He's like, "Korey, man, call that nigga. Where he at? Why he didn't come to the meeting?" So he FaceTimes me. And literally in the FaceTime, he's looking at me like, "Korey, what the fuck?" I'm like, "Yo, D? Bro, we said it was somebody named P." Like, "Nah, nigga, it's D Money." And he's like, "Yo, instead of y'all trying to throw the party and stuff like that, why don't y'all come be partners with me?" He kept his word. He put us in a great position and gave us an opportunity that nobody else did. And it's been a lot of learning. It's been a lot of ups and downs, just learning the business. But we've got our feet under us now, and moving into our third year of operation.
I've been there. It was beautiful. I had a good time when I went there. It was a good time,
man. We've done a lot, man. We've had some of everybody there. We've had the Cardi B's there numerous times. We've had the Migos there numerous times. The Lil Babies, Kevin Hart, 50 Cent. I mean, Tiana Taylor. Drea. I mean, everybody you could think of.
Yeah.
Young Thug. I mean, everybody you could think of has been at our venue. And it's a compilation of things. It's the relationships we built. The position we're in of power to do different things, buying power, and just putting good things into this city. And it's come back full circle. And we're blessed, man. And we have more things coming. I'm happy to say that there will be new venues coming.
Let's go.
New stuff coming up. So yeah, just stay on the lookout, man.
When you come to Cali, man?
I come to Cali. I really need to. I haven't been to California in a very long time. California was very, very good to me. When I was out there,
I need you to throw some parties out here, man.
Hey, man,
you ain't trying to buy no venue out here. Do I gotta put it together?
You might have to, man. I mean, everything. So to be honest with you, bro, I've always wanted to expand to other cities and other states. But the scary part for me is Atlanta worked because I was able to study the culture. Everything I've done here is work because I actually do homework and I study. That's my secret sauce, nothing else. Putting in the work. And finding out once I look at something where I can implement myself. I don't just pick myself up and drop myself in the city or drop my brand in the city or drop my ideas in the city. Every idea doesn't work for every city and every situation. I've learned that in Atlanta. Stuff that I tried to do 10 years ago didn't work, but is like popping now. I was trying to force this grown and sexy college party shit, me and Lyric, and it didn't work 10 years ago. Now it's a whole wave.
Yep, now it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow, man.
Yeah, man. If I can get the opportunity to learn something, man, I would go and do it anyway.
I'm gonna put something together. I'm gonna get you into the cannabis culture out here. I'm gonna have you throw some cannabis events out here. Okay, we're gonna do something. I got something in the books. Just let me. I'm gonna make it make sense. Because it's gonna be tight, man. But honestly, bro, I appreciate you coming on the podcast, bro.
No problem.
It was so many gems and you taught me a lot, and we got to do this again, honestly, bro.
Yeah, man.
We're gonna do this again.
Set it up. Yeah, set it up, man. I love your platform. I love what you've done. I'm very proud of you and who you've grown into, sir. And I'm happy that I'm a part of your story, as you're a part of mine.
Thank you, brother. You are, man, and trust me, man. I wouldn't take nothing back, and I would do it again. Same way, man. I would do it again. Same shit, man. It was vibes. It was fun. I learned a lot. And I learned Atlanta, man. And that's my second home. Every time I'm in Atlanta, I know I'm good. I don't worry about shit when I'm in Atlanta. I'm not talking like I'm some big Coleon nigga and nothing like that. It's just like my big bros, my niggas. I can call my niggas because I put in the work. But the same way y'all did, I was taught that the same way. My homies, everyone. So, man, shout out my Hit Squad family. Love y'all, man. Korey, I appreciate you, bro. Tell people your handle. Where can people visit your spot in Atlanta? Whatever you want to promote, drop. Here's your time,
bro. The newest venture, man, is Bar Vegan ATL, man. We're in Ponce City Market. Shout out to Pinky Cole, Aaron Madison, Lyric McCorvey.
And that's Pinky from Slutty Vegan, by the way, right? If we're not CAU on, right?
Yep. So she's a great person to be involved with. So, I'm in her leadership circle there. Of course, Oak Atlanta, okatl.com, 30 Ivan Allen Jr. Boulevard. And you can find any of this on my page at Korey Witak, KoreyWitak, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and everything else that streams and does pictures, I guess.
Yeah, I love it, man. For sure, man.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, and I appreciate you. And for this podcast, you can go to BigCaliWorld.com. It's available on YouTube. It's available on on Spotify, Apple, wherever you can hear podcasts. It's available there, and it's exclusively on the Big Cali World stream. Please subscribe. We're trying to get those subscribers up, please. And also, if you want to do a podcast, a lot of people come up to me say they want to do podcasts. So if y'all want to do that, go to productiveculture.com/podcast, and how did you hear about us section? Put in Big Cali World, Big Cali, Argoon Radio. Put in some promo code. You will get that promo episodes. You will get a lot of help, and they'll give you that special discount. You know that? And besides that, man, we're going to get up out of here, man. I appreciate you, Korey. Once again, man, it's all love. You stay safe out there, and I'll be out there soon, man. For sure. All right?
All right, bro.
All right, man. It's the man with the plan. I ain't Clark Kent. Some of the ladies do call me Superman. It's your boy, Big Cali, man. We out. Peace. Big Cali World all the time. Extra lit. Big Cali World all the time. Extra lit. Big Cali World all the time. Extra lit. Big Cali World all the time. Extra lit.